He was on transit, but he tried his best. I'm happy today he's settled when we are handling. So I want to welcome you, whoever is here, whoever has joined us today for the topic Beyond Blame, what the recent school unrest is telling us. And I want, first of all, before I welcome Ramoth, then Ramoth welcomes you officially. This is your host for the program, Odaunle. And on behalf of myself and Ramoth, I won't forget to thank so much, first of all, Ramogi Cultural Institute for Luo Heritage Research and Education for offering us this opportunity to do this. Secondly, I am passionately thanking Ramoth GK for always being there to facilitate or moderate or give his wisdom more so on cultural issues. Now, culture is about family. If things are not going well with the families, it means a lot of things are affected. And so we can't just wish it away. And when we got the request, they said, well, we threw it to the organizing group and they came up with topics. And so they put it in 3 series. Part 1 we dealt with last week, which was we dealt with the children, or rather the students who go to school, and then we tackled the parents. And so I would want to, before possibly we do recap quickly, and then we move on to this. Ramoth, I want to welcome you officially, and I want to tell you we really, really, really thank you for always being there to help moderate some of these topics. More so putting in your insight, your wisdom, having done quite extensive research on such matters. And so I'm so blessed and really happy that I have this opportunity to host you in the program, having been empowered and sponsored by Ramogi Cultural Institute for Luo Heritage Research and Education. Ramoth, feel free, please welcome and say hello to your people and welcome them officially. Thank you.
Erokamano Telo. Thank you so much, cultural champions, for gathering here again on a weekend. Appreciate your presence here because you could have been anywhere, but you're here with us. You could have been doing anything, especially on a weekend, but you're here with us, and we do not take that for granted. And the sacrifices that we make for Luones is deeply appreciated and deeply understood. And thank you to Ramogi Cultural Institute for always giving us a home, Pacho, Adala, Abila, and an institution where we can sit, relax, talk, discuss, and really learn as we go on this journey of becoming more of us and a better purified version of us that we create with our own minds and hands. Erokamano also Oudawonle for being here and for being available to talk about this. It is a thing that majority of us feel. Although many might be young, but most of us right now, we are parents, either older parents, parents to younger people, or just children. And we're really hoping to do this job, this work, this responsibility of child rearing to the best of possible ability. So Kamano for this having this topic. To abo welcome itelo mondo idonji mos nikwara mogi imos joluo kod visitors mantie ka imoski and then wanyalo launch ka wadhi mbele. Erokamano telo.
Erokamano, GK. Thank you so much, GK. Thank you to each and everyone, parents, uncles, caregivers, students. I'm sure even some academicians, because we're talking about education, I'm sure you're here. People who might even have deeper understandings of the ongoings. Teachers who are here. I want to welcome you to today's topic. And it's going to be moderated by Ramoth. I'll bring in issues. I'll have also a few questions from people who have sent them through. And we shall, Ramoth will handle them. And then if you still have a question or an input, there is a chat button there, or you can email. There is an email running down there. If you look at your whatever gadget you're using, there is a message running down there. It has got an email address. Feel free to send in any question or any input that you may have. Otherwise, I want us to go into it, Ramoth. And tonight, again, I want to appeal to us that as we approach this conversation, we are not approaching this conversation as judges. We are not approaching these conversations as politicians. We are parents, yes, but we're not approaching as we discuss it. We're not discussing it and approaching as perfect parents. We are not even teachers. Both Ramoth and I are not trained teachers. We are approaching this topic, and I may mention Ramoth is approaching it as a person who has done a lot of research on a number of issues. More so, he's a philosopher. I approach it as a psychologist, and we together approach it as concerned citizens seeking understanding at a time when our nation is at a turmoil. And from what I've gathered around and what I'm listening to, most of adults don't know what to do, including the leaders or the so-called leaders. They all don't know what to do. I think everybody has just said, everybody is now saying, hey, this generation. I think that's all I hear. Oh, Gen Zs. I think I hear a lot of that. But a quick one, as I said, the first day that we tackled, we talked about the students. Just a recap, a quick one. So we talked about, so that those who are not there picks it up when we link it up. So today we are discussing two more questions. Last week we discussed two questions. So the questions we discussed or the issues we were highlighting was about the students. The question was, are student perpetrators or victims? We dwelt on it at length. And so we're not going to repeat. I don't want to repeat each and everything, but I know that what we said was that the easiest answer to say to most people, they were perpetrators. And they are in most, when they would qualify why they say they were perpetrators, they were like, no one forced them to light fires, no one compelled them to destroy property, no one instructed them to lock fellow students inside and burn the dormitories. And that's now talking specifically to the issue that happened at Utumishi. And also, I added my voice on that. And my take was teenagers are not infants. They possess moral awareness. They understand consequences. They know the difference between right and wrong. Therefore, accountability must remain part of our conversation. And then the other question we asked was about the parents. Is there a crisis in the first institution because parenting, family is the first institution. So are we having a crisis there? Because whenever a strategy involving young people occurs, public attention quickly turns to parents, rightfully so. Some of that scrutiny we said last week is justified. Some of it is unfair. Some of it has even become toxic because the family remains the first school every child attends. So those are some of the things we quickly, without going into details, because we tackled that last week. And therefore, having laid that background, why we're doing that, we then come to today. And today we have questions or two more questions. And these questions are factored around the people or in not individuals, not the personality, but the offices or the personalities that are in student. When you say students, we are not mentioning a particular student. It's a student body, all of them, whichever number they are in high schools. And so today as we tackle Beyond Blame Part 2, and the question is what the recent school unrest in Kenya is telling us. Um, Ladies and gentlemen, our educators, parents, students, policy with ourselves, and even with the parents, and even with the schools, and even with everybody involved. Because school unrest is not merely an educational issue. It is a social mirror reflecting deeper tensions within our families, institutions, leadership structures, and society itself. So whenever schools burn, property is destroyed, lives are disrupted, and learning is interrupted, the immediate intention is to identify culprits. All of us, we always first identify the culprits. Yet history teaches us that social crises rarely emerge from a single cause. They are often result of multiple pressures accumulating over time until a breaking point is reached. This is very key, until a breaking point is reached. Ramoth posed a question last week. Have we pushed these students until a corner where they cannot do anything? Now they have to push back. Is the system falling? Is it breaking? Are they breaking the old system that has been in place for so long? And therefore, it has pushed them so hard into a corner that they have decided to burn it down and possibly begin afresh. So as we engage tonight, we must ask ourselves a difficult question. What exactly are our schools trying to tell us, these students? Are they communicating a crisis of discipline, a crisis of leadership, a crisis of resources, a crisis of parenting, or perhaps all these things at once? Tonight, we shall focus on two critical areas, and this is now where Amoth comes in. Area one, school and teachers. Are educators under pressure? So we want to dwell in area one first, and that is school and teachers. Are these educators under pressure, Ramoth? Because when society discusses education, schools are
Mm.
the frontline institutions responsible for shaping the next generation. Yet one important question deserves honest consideration. Are our schools carrying responsibilities that are increasingly exceeding their capacity, Ramoth? The teachers, are we taking our kids to teachers that are not prepared, teachers who are possibly who possibly even have more problems than the students, some of the students you are taking to them. Ramoth, come in. Thank you.
Kama Notelo. Mano is Mano is quite a bit. Quite okay, last time it was so unfortunate that I was really caught up. Mano, I could not contribute fully to the first one because even when you talk about school and teachers, we're talking about about the upper levels of this. Still, the school and the teachers have to deal with the students, and the students are the main customer or the main product that the school and they go mint into or watching whatever into whatever is the purpose and necessity either the school or the community, and even the ministry has to ensure that this minting process is being done. Gimagada from the teachers begin a bit baffled. Kabino now in the situation Maginti right now. The curriculums are changing, okay, so much support, and Katako change obeyed. Man go it for 4, man before Kanyo, and what is now coming, Winjoni, from the few that Masebet Ka Winjo. Okay, Winjo, I listened to a few, at least apparently they are a bit sober on what is happening and the future of the Matimre in Kenya. Actually, even education still happens for the main reason why education happens, and what we read last time, for positions to get a good job and majorities to get a good job and for the future. But the future, we mean a good job in the future, or mean anything else. So in that sense, even the teachers get overwhelmed in that sense. Kagiwacho, this is from what they're saying, get overwhelmed in that sense. And then students be no biro because of the free education. So there are many more students more biro. And they don't get any capacity building on their side or development, upgraded development more the institutions themselves. For then in a school with more students at the same classroom, no addition of classrooms unless again private. In that sense, okay, what I'm looking at from this is what is happening is more to the public schools, Cosetelo, or the private schools, especially high class private schools, begin with the same problems.
It's affecting us mostly. It's affecting government schools mostly. Yeah.
I say you do any private money with the same problem.
High-end private schools are not affected with anything like this. No.
Low end private schools in quotes begin with the same problem.
Ramoth,
Jogo nyoni
what
tam. Jogo nyoni.
you've just touched, what you are touching on is proportion. I think the private better than, because the private sector, even the numbers are limited beyond what they can. I think that we also need to put into. So that's why they're not affected. Correspond with their needs. And they have a specific number, for example, in a class. Some private schools can't. If they say it is 27, it's 27. They can't pass that number. Go to a private public school. Now that you're touching on it, I have information from a parent in Starehe, girls who said the numbers have tripled, but the facilities are still the same. What do you
Mm.
expect?
Mm.
Mm.
Kaka no mention, more coins are being itero kanyo for minting, but the institutions themselves be gionge capacity gikia kaka gibo mint, and minting for what be is a big question. Minting for what? Okay, it seems kilanga to be bedo minted to be a pilot and a doctor. Again, some will fail, but that is how it is. But it is interesting, the private schools do not have these problems as such. It is a very telling phenomenon. But Achokamana, from their perspective, is that. And then Kendo, the students themselves, the teachers know the students are not motivated. Gin motivated, gin more. Kilanga to any punjo jimondo bed pilot and doctors and these other things. To the pilots and doctors, most of the doctors, you do give street every time kagigine government and such like things. And Marario, uh, majority of students gido bedo TikTokers called YouTubers. So in any, they are not so motivated. Okay, majority of TikToks and YouTubes oku about mathematics in depth or biology in depth, and then a low quality entertainment. Kata kibiro to the lower sector, if it is not music and jokes. And even Kineno Kata, the state where Kenya is, majority of the celebrities. Ngisa, tell Ngisa, the last time in Kenya, the celebrity was somebody who has achieved something monumental. Monumental. Ma has the capacity to really change how Kenya will be positioned in Africa in the next 10 years.
The honest truth, and that's why Ramoth, we started when we said sometimes we're gonna very brutal with ourselves.
Mm, mm,
We're quite some of the things what we call celebrities. Sometimes I fail to understand. I don't know how to. I don't, as a person, and this is just me as a person. I don't know how to describe or define a celebrity, and more so in Kenyan context, because what is a celebrity? Because that celebrity, they are in limelight for 2 years and doing something that is not creating any opportunities for anybody else, but they have a following, especially from our young people. Our young people adore them. And then 2 or 3 years down the line, they have a scandal that takes them down, boom. Or even if it was a relationship, their relationship hits the snag. I'm not saying it as a joke. I don't think the relationships are hard to maneuver in most cases. So it can happen to anyone. So, but their relationship or what they were projecting a lot on the social media goes down, boom, and and it was just about them. I think that's where the issue is. When you ask, have they ever created something or worked on a project that we can say in 10 years' time, Kenya will be in this position because of what so and so or a celebrity is doing. And so we have got the word role model. I don't know who the young people of Kenya currently can even follow as a role model, Ramot. I don't know. Because this celebrity one, I need someone to define for me what celebrity is. Because I hear celebrities, but celebrities need to be people who are changing other people's lives based on what they are either inventing or a mega project they're working on. That is changing these young people's lives who are looking at them.
Ijoginyoni completely. Okowinj
Yeah.
kata gimiwacho koro.
Oh, Rama.
Ok en stable kata matin.
Okay.
So, yeah, what I was asking, well, celebrities who, not even celebrities, like some people who are famous, who are known for something. It's not always that they have to be known for something, but also the ones we have. You don't need, especially Kata in Luo, because you are Luos. Most of them are musicians.
JK, even Jacob.
Awinji.
Okay.
Most of our people are Jomongere in Luo are musicians, and then politicians, and then a bit footballers and this, but not so much. So in my reality, mother children are seeing most. And then the children develop this they develop this outlook because everybody's a TikToker and everybody's a YouTuber, and a few dance videos will make you super rich. So that is where the Guinema, the children of the younger generation has been focused. And Katakagidi school, it really doesn't make sense to them. So, and the other element, Mobiro, is drugs. The younger people are getting drugs younger, faster, more potent. It is mixed with some chemicals that when I was young, we did not think they should be inhaled. And the avenues to get this is everywhere. Katakiwinjo, the younger musicians, especially the much, much younger musicians, Kagiwero, these things they sing. Promotion of drugs and heavy kind of heavy. Molo Kata one our time when we were listening to music, it was very rare. Winjoka drugs or biro kanya, even if the people were using, but biro bedo it has become so lucrative, man. The thing is there. So in Inyalone no. Anyalone no nyathina kanyo, and I think nupode nyathi, but ma is a user, is a high level user. Very high level user, and Gikelo even more complex drugs, okay, things that we've never seen. Kata kiwinjo nying again. Some of them are kata and pokawainen, but they are very prevalent kanyo. Even some of the names kagiwacho you okinyal okinyal understand. So magobo biro in large quantities, in very, very large quantities. It takes a lot mondo nyathini overcome that. It takes quite a lot. That, and so you don't know, one day conversant to these things. So katakotere school, the teacher is dealing with a totally new entity, not the students kakamekwa manae. Jikaka wanok nyal miwa prefect nikech we wane tek, but ineno huda giri yudo prefect to imiye nyaka tai makala moro, and that was a lot. Tinde I don't think there is that care. Kata kibomiya tai no, nobody really cares like that. So mago e gik mwaneno around this issue. What is also pretty interesting to me ni Ouda, as usual, the issue has died down.
Uh,
As usual with Kenya, the issue has died down.
mm.
Because
The issue that it does so because the students have been sent home, so the issue is solved. They are going
yeah, it's not in the news. It is not something people are discussing. Can give magic focus on and maybe a bit burden of the parents. Kendige. Working against Zigo.
yeah, Toramoth, Kamimulono, what you've just said about drugs, number one, drugs, two, TikTok. Then the reason why the topic was under pressure, I say so because of the reason that now teachers today find themselves performing multiple roles beyond instruction. They are expected to be educators, counselors, because when a child is on drugs, who talks to them? Not a teacher. They're not going to listen to the teacher in class. So what does the administration say? Or if you go to school and your child has issues, you are referred to who? But now the teachers are performing this, and they are also disciplinarians. They are surrogate parents. They are conflict mediators. They are social workers. They are mentors, and at times even mental health first responders to your children. So the modern teacher is often asked to solve problems whose origins lie outside the classroom. That is why I feel personally that the teachers and even the school administrators are under a lot of pressure. So this raises another difficult question, Ramon. Are parents gradually transferring responsibility to schools that has traditionally belonged to the family? What you have just said, whose responsibility is to understand and to know and to handle when their kids are on drugs? Whose responsibility is it to understand that TikTok was invented in China, but Chinese children don't, number one, use TikTok throughout the day. Number two, they use it only for invention. Whose responsibility is that? So are parents gradually transferring responsibility to school that traditionally belong to the family? Ramon.
Pretty interesting. Our parents transferring responsibility.
The school,
Hmm.
those who are traditional, those issues traditionally belong to the parents. School one are not meant to discipline a child. They are meant to reinforce the values that have been brought to school. The school shouldn't be the first responders to your mental health issues. The kids come from school with this thing. Yes, something can happen in school. Bullying might happen in school, but that's a totally different thing. They are counselors. They are surrogate parents, even to make it even worse.
If Kagik Moko, if the things would have been the way they're supposed to be, I think it would have been the at topmost it would have been the government and by this I mean the people working in the government. They would have been concerned for this. They would have been the first ones concerned for this. Yeah, but that Manos has not been the case for a very long time. So they are left in case. I still have these African ways of thinking. It takes a village to raise a child, but it also takes a village to raise a family, and it takes a village to raise a complete woman, and it takes a village to create, raise a complete man, and it takes a village to raise a father, and it takes a village to raise a mother, and to an extent, it takes the village to raise itself. An example was Kakanwa Somowat. The court of the king had all these people who were taking care of the society, and the ones who were going to do that job had been chosen specifically because they had shown capability to do this. Among the government, majority of the government right now, people are not, and for a long time, to me personally, I think even from the inception of the Kenyan government, Gimilogon government, it has never been competent. It has been tribe and all these other stories, so that it cannot raise a nation. To a large extent, Kamawantie, I usually say it's because Kenya does not have a Kenyan culture. They have refused to develop a Kenyan culture. So the schools will always be useless. It is only now that it is working because the schools were supposed to teach us this Kenyan culture. Because the Kenyan culture would be a healthy culture because it will be a culture formed out of many nations. So it would be something very unique and very African. It has not been done anywhere. So if that is what we were going to do, you see, even our education would have been different from the inception. Because you are being taught how to maintain a certain culture that is made up of very different elements. And some people would have been trained specifically how to keep it together. And that has not happened since the inception. We keep playing these British games, these Arabic games, these Singaporean games, and all these other games. So Kenya does not have a Kenyan culture. So Kenya has completely refused to develop a Kenyan culture. We would not be talking about street tribalism and all these other things if Kenya had concentrated on developing a culture. The second part was just the schools. Auda Jogio with your cookend. They are on your cases. They're on your casus. Gitam rewe nina fast. Iduogo.
Simbela, awinji. Yeah, Simbela.
So that would have been of more value. The moment we have brokers and thieves in the government. So that one was wrong. The education system more inherit is completely, again, it was for teaching the European child. It was never meant for the African child. It was never meant for the African child. If it had been meant for the African child, that thing would have first taught them about the culture that is brought together. Because this has been done in ancient Africa, that has been done many times. And they amalgamate and form another culture out of that. And then the school would spend the first years not teaching maths or all these other things that seem important. We'll be teaching about values and morals. Because these are people who are amalgamated. So this is more important to have unified values, have unified understanding, have unified perspective, have unified goals. And this is a big part that is really an issue that you have to really drill in. Then if you put the mathematics, it serves that goal. If you put the science, it serves that goal. But some people are they thought they were very clever, and they started taking the government and stuff for their own so-called tribes, things that are going to go extinct in 1 or 2 generations, if not extinct already. So by holding on to something so useless that the European had formed, 99% of the cultures in Kenya are formed by Europeans, not cultures, the tribes. They're formed by Europeans and Arabs and all these other and Indians and all these other people. So they are not going to work and they're pretty useless, say the truth. So instead of us focusing on, okay, we have gone through this experience, not the Europeans, not the Indians, not the Arabs, it is us who have gone through this colonial system, and it has really robbed us of a lot. So we need to rebuild ourselves. That has never happened. That has never happened. So we are here. We are here. Schools are useless, but we'll still keep insisting that because they're not forming Kenyan culture. The teachers are useless because they're not teaching to anything, they're teaching to subjects. So the subject cannot be revolutionary in Africa, meaning the mathematics cannot even go deeper into the Kenyan culture and create other things. The science cannot do that. The business, the economics cannot do that. They're just dependent. They're completely dependent. But we are still pushing these children into that. And you can see. And this is my mommy on Apenji. What about the private schools? The private schools, you don't get these problems because they're going to form two people. They're forming the next Abulongo Ginadi, the next home guards in the technical sense, not in the gun walking sense, but in the in the policy sense. And then many of them also already live their lives for holiday. They go to Europe and all these places. So they're global citizens. Kenya does not matter. In global citizens. So these issues of school, Magionge, and it's a big problem in Africa. It's a whole global African problem. Or Kenya can't. The schools or the teachers are useless. The schools are useless. The ministry don't even talk. And you see, one thing about Africa, if you want to understand what the ministry is doing, it doesn't matter which government in which country. Turn the name around, then you'll see what it is doing. If it is the Ministry of Health, it has to be the Ministry of Mishealth. Then you'll see what it is doing. You'll see many more people dying in the public hospitals and stuff. Ministry of Education, it will be the Ministry of Miseducation. Ministry of Culture, it will of misculture. It won't even exist. The Ministry of Transport, just say the Ministry of Mistransport. No roads, no nothing. The Ministry of Finance, just call it the misfinance. The Ministry of always being broke. And then Africa will make sense. It will make sense. Everything will just fall in place because that is the result of having gone through this colonial experience, and you did not reform yourself. You did not recreate yourself. So all these things you're talking about, they are stories. They're aspirations. They're not realities. You aspire to one day be developed. You aspire to one day be technologically advanced. You aspire to. So tell her, what do you
But quite insightful pieces there. A number of things we've talked about. Talk to the heart. We can hide our heads in the sand, but that's the reality. One, private schools. Most of those students leave that school already with the future in their hands. That's the truth. A student from Miare Secondary School near my home is meant to compete with a student at Turi, St. Andrew's Turi in Molo. I think that's we are dreaming. The other thing is the education system, like you've talked about it. It had a purpose. It was designed for something. We inherited it, and we just thought we must maintain it the way it was. But Ramoth, I think also part of it is because the top echelon of whatever we call them, they are a beneficiary of another middle level system that was created for them. So they feel they are enjoying, and so the person down here must be kept at that low level, not to catch up with them. And I mean, the reasons are obvious, and the results are obvious. What affects the schools doesn't affect the Minister of Education. His kid is not in that school. What affects the school doesn't affect the child of a permanent. What do you call them nowadays? I always know them as permanent secretaries, whatever they're called now. They are not affected in any way. Why would it be their emergency to sort anything out? They are not affected in any way. Whatever we are talking about is not an accusation against parents. We know families themselves are also under tremendous pressure. There is economic uncertainty, demanding work schedules. These are realities. Changing social structures. That is where the whole thing is. Changing social structures, and the shifting of cultural expectations. Quite key. And so, if both schools and families are struggling under increasing pressure, perhaps the issue is not who is failing. Perhaps the issue is whether the support system surrounding both institutions have kept pace with modern realities. That's what Ramoth has just mentioned. The schools we inherited were they meant for Africans? The system we inherited. We have to ask ourselves, it has reached a point where we have to ask ourselves, what was the purpose of the education system that was there, that was brought in by the colonialist? What was his intention with that education? Yes, we fought for independence, political independence, that is, and we got it. They are gone. Why are we still keeping their system? Why didn't we sit down and change and realize now this system needs to work for us? We can't maintain it. So, so
Telo Gimoro Martin.
um,
This Gimoro Martin. These people did not leave because they planted themselves in the most important part in our identity. So Katakano work
the
physically,
question before us
but
is therefore not
psychological.
simply whether teaching system. Totally current system. There are some of them are just a little older than your student who is in high school. Little older. So basically they're the same generation. Are they well equipped to handle your kids' emotional and mental issues that he gets from home and takes to school? Those are some of the questions that we need to ask ourselves. Ramad, I don't know whether you have something to say about to finish with the school and the teachers being under pressure before we move on to to the Ministry of Education itself. These leadership
Mm,
public statements, because we have a lot of
mm,
nicely written public statements being read
mm,
when the
mm,
schools ban. Oh, it's so nice. You listen to them, they talk so nicely. We have to have
mm.
it. Yes. So with the teachers, do you have any these teachers and the school itself? I know you've talked a lot and you've brought in very, very key issues. around the school. Do you have anything you have to say last to
But especially in finishing and Kajako with the teachers. Tello, and the teachers do not know who they are teaching. They really do not know who they are teaching. Geek, yeah.
the strategy is where they come from. Also, those people, their parents also don't know them. So who knows them?
No, Gamanone go know them was at beginning was supposed to be the top level. Was supposed to be the top level. But Mabedo Daya, Tello, Bedo Daya Nikochi, you're a teacher. You're a teacher. Meaning, in the good process, might transform this thing of minting something. So if you do not understand what you're minting, it will be very difficult. Last time, you watch on even the teachers themselves, obey any TikTok.
That's the truth.
So, in case the teacher does not come from heaven, the teacher also is a result of these systems. He goes through or she goes through the systems, and then the teacher is profession. It's not identity. Before obeyed teacher is still the same confused Kenyans. Now confused Kenyan adding a profession. And then Imie that thing, so he's supposed to help confuse these other ones, Mabiro, and make another him or her. And then he get in an institution which is called a school. And it's in these things in African context, you have to turn them back. So Obedo and school. Okay, if he comes, if this child comes into the school knowing how to survive, by the time more work, he will not know. I mean, a bit of a practical example. One lay paro when we were in school, Nwalo Soganya Koruto as part of the music curriculum. Nimi wa exercises Mulo Sonya Koruto as part of the curriculum. When it became necessary to phase it out, and now the cultural experience in Olal, now those things just disappeared. It just disappeared. Yeah, John, we are making them more practical. More practical. You kill industries, come on. You kill industries, come on. Okay, all the people who are going to come through that as Orotu musical instrument specialists. Gito, are they now? Odobedo doctor, Odobedo, whatever these other professions are. And that is just done in this institution. So this also, the institutions also gain, their purpose is different. It's very different. So Kanyo, expecting these institutions to do that work, for me on a personal level, and it is impossible. It is impossible. Catch up to the core of it. Momia mentioned all those things, actually. The cultural element, we refuse to make a Kenyan culture. Because then there would have been cultural institutions to support the culture. And then the culture would take care of the children. The teachers would just supplement. They would be so enmeshed in the culture that he understand they understand where mathematics and the culture come in. Yes. So this whole part is gone. So there has to be a supplementary system. My education. There has to be a totally with supplementary teachers, and the society will be super involved in it. Okay, that is the part that is missing. There's no Kenyan culture. So there's no local culture. There's just traditions. Not even tradition, tribes. Not even tradition, just tribes. Well, katakanga tongisina Mluo and Kikuyu. Okomina I come from these people or this lineage of people. Or mean as a tribe, as an identifying factor on the ID or wherever. It is the same. So this person is tall, or this person is brown. So this one is Kikuyu. And then Obedo, Kagise Tieke Kanyo, and you identify with this. So iterate to the extent where now it is used as a division of labor. The people who will get the benefits or not. The benefits, the benefits not of life, the benefits of holding this system together. Because what the colonial system did was put an extractive system, or extract things, or extract labor, or extract time, or extract resources, or extract minds, and then to an extent more extract even people. Ogology, how many so-called professors and Guinemoso Diponjo Wakokucha teaching other people's children, or extract kata that. Katineno some tribes are near Tabolongogin tribes are very proud in Igin Magidi. Gidi to Seattle, kama Gidi, Akiakure. So, or extract ki, even whole regions. So, in an extractive system. So, the only argument Mantie Kanya, when there is no culture, like even a Kenyan culture, and the argument of who will control the extractive system, who is going to do the job of kata school is supposed to be, which school kata Kimiga ranks will build the best extractors.
The competition goes there now.
Yeah, some mean okay, there's this school Tiestarehe and this and this and this. Tokagiwo Kuro, it's not like they're more Kenyan. Have the Kamatinu go arambe mondo de. Tokose Donjo in those systems, he can only work for them. And if he's on Kenya, only work for them, just helping them extract. Okine katasani kata China, or have so many scholarships. Japan, or have so many. Yani George Duangisane, you would be willing to open scholarships for Gmondo Bio defeat your children in your own country. And you open them every year. Need one mondo giti Germany to study what the Germans study. And even Onyalobet, the best in that class. And all these nations are not scared. Kilur team or that thing, and they do it every year. Kitimo Kamano since independence Nyakasani, there should be Kenyans controlling every country in the world. And it's not happening. There should be Africans controlling all places in the world. It's not happening. So you enjoy extractors.
But still to benefit.
That's why you take them to your system. So Mane so the schools are useless in that sense. They can only produce, Ginyalo produce people who are skilled. But Africa, Kata Kenya, Kata Luo does not need only people who are skilled. The skill is important. At Gidoro Joma, their internal orientation is so focused. It's so and very solid that all that skill is used to produce for here. For survival. Walungen for survival. So and Kamano. So that is how I see it. There has to be a whole. If Kenya refuses to develop it, Kenya is the extraction system. It will be so threatened by forming a Kenyan culture. Okay, the Kenyan culture will have to be sustained by Kenyan wealth, and that will give me a chance. So it has to be done. And if they refuse, uh, I'm glad Naramogi Cultural Institute is more focused on doing this.
Mm.
And give our children opportunity, maybe very grounded to do the work. Okay, as much as in Kenya, but Kenya Yudojoluoka, and they cannot stop because everybody does not want to do it.
For sure.
If every culture has a right to decide, if they want to go extinct, is okay. But one Kaka Joluo, we decide no, we will not be extinct. Mano is their democratic right. Ginyalo counted gi wit Melbourne te. And gibedo surprised after two generations no jogo are Melbournians. Gikia Kericho, they don't even care. They have a right to choose this. But one be choose that type of extinction. Law is too precious. So there'll have to be a whole system of culture, Mabo support the education system so that they balance these children. The education, the cultural part must be lacking. The teachers cannot do it. Manokende mabokonyo teaching. Even if these people are kagipunjo somebody to be an extractor, the culture can go counter that and give them balance. So koluor punjo ginkich, something is backing him or her. So koluor giving them to the full extent of the knowledge, especially Ken passionate about it. Nkich ongeon he or she is not destroying them as a teacher, and the school is not destroying them because they're supplementary systems to correct where the extractive system bo gog. Nkich it has to. The extractive system has to give them psychological damage. It has to. It is part of the process. Nyakotime. Okay, wonder why education takes so long. Why education takes so long. You don't understand those things Jogo cannot take a lot shorter. Niketa keta jogi. There is no Saturday or Sunday what day. Other countries do it. Singapore did it. And those guys, the students, they study a lot longer than anybody. Hmm. They study a lot longer than anybody. Give the school up to evening to after evening, give it to extra classes. Ntindo don't just Ario as their parents, Kiwokigin, extra tuition. Japan does the same thing. Many of these countries do the same thing. One Podwalu Europeans, people who katakirango the education systems are not the best.
Mm.
Okinyal compare US and Singapore in terms of education. Tojogi push their children, this is important. But in cultural institutions to support Nkech majority of Singapore give tend towards Islam. Tomago gin take mosques and everything and madrasa and everything kind.
Mm.
The whole support system. Kagin Christian ginga whole support system. My indigenous. So mano to the teachers and Guinea. And Kobiro is the institution Koro. Ministry.
Ramath, just before you
Yeah,
move, because this is related to what you're saying. It's a comment
mm,
from a teacher. He say, please thank Ramoth for highlighting this. We as teachers or educators receive children who arrive with significant emotional, behavioral, and psychological challenges already from their homes. The schools alone cannot adequately address that. We were not even meant to be addressing that. The other
Mana
one,
dear.
yes. The
Mm,
other one, these we should these I've handled it in some forums. One is about what about parents Because I think we've talked about, children wanting to be pilots, doctors, and lawyers. And so one asks, what about parents who are the ones putting that in the child's brain, that you are only going to be either a lawyer and you have to be a lawyer? Ramo, these I'll just answer it once the way I always say it. Parents must stop forcing their children to be what they wanted to become and they never were. That is their problem. You grew up wanting to be a doctor, you never became a doctor. Now you're a child, you want to force your child to become a doctor. That is living through and loving yourself through your child. Leave these kids alone to choose what they want to be. Some of the pressures are coming from the parents also, Ramos, because the child has been told you have to be a doctor. He goes to school, the grades don't match what the parent wants. They don't want to do exams. What do? They ban the schools before exams. That is the truth about some of these issues. The pressure you want to, the parents is waiting for results that will that shows that you want to become a doctor at high school. You will know very well you are not going to take that result home. Why would you allow exams to happen? So
Telo Kanyo,
mm,
I'm usually not so hard on the parents.
mhm.
Okay, being they come from they're in an extractive system, and nobody tells them it is extractive. They see it, even if Kagikia put it in words. So Gitemoga just advise their children in the best way. Magi understand that system and how to um, survive in that system. So being a no bed doctor, but Otemo push the child kecho and some friends who are doctors to know how they live, to know how their children can go abroad. So Otemo kwalo nyathi ne penj. And then no konyal wacho no, okay, this okay kakonyal articulate this system is extractive, but from my experience, what I've seen, this. So it would be better for you to concentrate on these things. So Gitemoga just out of the experience. Nikech if en keche no kodak school en ng'ama duong. He has experience.
Okay.
He has seen how the thing works. Iwinja? Telo. Yeah, hold on, Lord. So I'm never so I know Nti all those things, but get a mukolo on a page because this is not just Kenyan parents.
Kwer nokwalo penj ne
Anything again.
okwalo penj ne nyathi, penj mar life ne nyathine.
Change my life. Change
Okay.
my this issue is not only in Kenya and it is not only in Luo. So how is it that even the American parents are saying this? The Chinese parents are saying this. The European parents are saying this. So this lesson take Magi you there. Okay,
And engraved in the system.
so in an extractive system,
Mm.
first part has to start deceiving the child is the parent. The school just has to take it over. Nikech, this is Pareka cannot watch about the Luo girl, how the mother has given birth to the child. But remember, the child started hearing the mother's voice in the womb.
Correct.
So these are the first sounds he trusts. These are the first sounds that he looks at as what makes sense, what accounts for truth. So the system hijack that voice. It has to. So you don't. It is the Emom now mentioned that part. There's no Kenyan culture. So even the parent personality, mommy by the system, it's what will be talking, but it has to use the voice of the parent so that it comes easier to the child. It seems true.
Mm.
Emom now actually the system that is extractive. The system that is extractive must give the child psychological damage. And the first resource it has to use and the parent. So the first thing Monya Nyakomie is a very unrealistic idea of the society. Because if the child starts noticing these things from birth, he will want to destroy the thing. He will want to destroy the extractive system. Because remember, he's not talking first, he's observing first.
Mm.
So many things that might skip grown-ups, he's observing. Alafu Bochako notice some patterns that the grown-ups have become more used to them. And these patterns
Mm.
will bring problems. I mean, I know we have now. Because you notice these patterns and then Gichako relate. The thing will make our children a bit more rebellious. Nigi kakani wachoni, for example, kakani wachoni these children of these other schools live a different life. But the interesting thing is they bring this life online,
Yes.
the private school. And then in Tindwagi, they see it
Yes.
on TikTok and stuff. So
That's for sure.
Gitako connect 1 and 1, 2 and 2, 3 and 3. Okay. Okay. So the parent has to be used as the voice of the system, as the voice, challenge the voice of reason, but is really getting you ready for this extractive system. But when the teacher gets you, it is okay. Wadiga, ngwech, tunakwenda kukwenda. So I understand, Giga. Nkechineno, if you look at the logic,
Mm.
if let's say what push the logic to the extent, watching that whole class, everybody becomes a pilot. Or in that school for the next, let's say 10 years, they produce doctors, 100, like 50% to produce engineers, 20%, and we produce the other profession, pilots, 30%. I mean, almost everybody passes. Where are these people going to work? How many planes does Kenya make? How many hospitals does Kenya make? So Kataki pushed the logic to its super conclusion. Watching, let's say this thing. Team thought experiment. Watching, let dig this thought of the parents and say it can work. 1000%. Iboneno you'll run to the same problems. And then the last thing Manado want to tell
Mm.
cut soil with the ministry in it.
Yes.
Remember, an
Mm.
extractive system cannot create employment. Okay, it's an extractive system. Yako extract resources. Okonyal create enough employment. So, Mondo, the biggest way to prevent these people revolting is by using education. Okay? If you make it so, gadget the education enough, and there is no culture to direct the education, the reason for the education. There's no culture, more direct consciousness towards achieving some things for the education. These children will see the failure rate. Noko achieve what he wanted. He will not think it is because the country Okinyal produce enough work. Obo paron it is because of him. You understand Gimawacho?
Yes, Ramatawinji. Mm.
And then a bit technical. So it is necessary Mondogi fail
Mm-hmm.
so that Okiwang, the school or the government. Gineno, okay, it is me who is stupid. It is just me who is stupid. To I extent, and it's a bit. Okay, if it was there were enough pilots, there was no enough position for pilots, they would make extra uh, activities to fill
Mm.
those numbers. Katakite or some to very special schools, me punje just with one teacher. on the bed pilot, it would still happen. So
Makes sense.
being in it, especially Mano, was the trick behind free education. It will and you see this an extractive system that can make psychological damage.
Correct.
They will fail because the teacher will not be able to teach all of them. So
Mhm.
some will fail, and your statistics midterm on, you hope many more fail.
Because it makes a lot of sense in a quick rejoinder that how do you expect one teacher to handle 80 students in a class at a go? What is the end purpose?
The failure is already written in the system, in the law, in the
Correct.
policy.
Correct.
So Ibo, that is why it was very scary time Manthindo Ginora is up. It was not supposed to happen. Nena normally.
But that's why they didn't know how to handle it.
It is
They didn't
Emanisi.
expect it.
They always count for this. They always count this in the equations. That is why AI for them is very important. The questions Magi Penjo AI are not the same ones me Penjo AI. Make cats in boots, standing on a lake. I'm at pitch. I'm a community. Okay, Kenyan politicians are corrupt. Put for me two Kenyan politicians standing eating. They do not ask those questions. Gimagin Gipenjo, these computers are given Gikmatimbre and the possibilities and
Mm.
Kakawa deal with these people. How long would it take and how many generations would it take for these people to turn the whole thing? Get data.
Mm.
Data. Now I'm very surprised the last time, not surprised. I'm getting surprised anymore. Okay, it's one Kenyans. But the last KNEBs, statistics make KNEBs, make counties, and how many people are there in the counties. The last one's nobody was sponsored by the Norwegian government. Kendoki some of the Knetine Nokani, sponsored by the that is in a whole page, sponsored by the Norwegian government. Korogi sponsor for give that data, Mondogi crunch it. Or no pardon everybody not chakoti yoga AI for cut videos and for graphics. Pardon everybody thinks like us on that small level. So it is important on the and especially after Gino not Timbre.
Mm.
It was important. And Wanangisi, they had counted this. They had counted the possibility in youths Gibokelo Wigi. But Gimanok account and George Floyd. That knows the anomaly and what it taught the young people. Man knows the anomaly.
Mhm.
Not in jogging, Alora. Madogi Sebed Kagiti Ligagino since 1904. Temo predict how long would it take for jogging to overturn the whole thing. And that's the biggest job they do, not to make money. In any manner, we really operate because we love money. And by money, I mean we love the chasing of it.
Mhm.
Operate the person who makes money, I mean literally prints money, has the same problem.
Mm-mm. That's not the truth.
Hmm. So they have the resources. Gisekwalo enough. They have in store.
They have a
Gisekwalo
totally
enough.
different set of problems.
Completely a very different outlook on life. So even the questions Maggie Penjere in life is not about Guinea. The only issue they have now is to hand over this extractive system to the next 1,000 generations. 1,000 generations, not 100. George Nenti interview Moromana Oroni Mar Ikea.
Yeah, I remember. I know. I have it.
Until point Moromangano, the CEO was talking about to actually no meet with the founder of IKEA.
Mhm.
To the founder of IKEA no bet called the management team to Penjo Gipenjani Oh, so okay, you should think long term. Tachelcom executives go pension. How long is long term? To mzee no bet to paro. Ingenza no bet kanyo. Mzee no to kod 90 something a few years back. Ongiso again 200 years is good. Why is a company church? Koro kangisigan Kenya ongega anything beyond 2030.
Beyond 5 years.
So
Beyond 5 years, with it
mm,
2030. Everything is pegged on 5 years. Everything.
mm, Among on one, even in Luo, we had these people who were really focusing us on those 5 years. Everything, and Gibedo paid handsomely for focusing us on 5 years cycles. And majority of Onagi, their mind does not work longer than 5 years being. Or Duok Nigoter.
Ministry of Education is a chake. I think what you've brought out is quite clear. The reason why whenever there are unrest or an unrest occurs, public statements are often they often quickly follow. Committees are formed, investigations are launched, and condemnations is issued. It falls in between the system of extraction. Already it has been planned. That is what will happen. You follow already that's a, a sequence that you've already been given. The moment you are not allowed, you are meant to follow.
Tela winji en gine network ni no ma jogo nyono thoroughly. Jogo nyone completely.
Okay. Sorry, I muted. I muted. Yeah.
Mm.
There's a funny feedback. So GK, we realize that whenever these things happen, there are always public statements. They follow very quickly. These public statements very quickly, and they form committees. They launched investigations. There are condemnations that happen. So that falls into that system. It's already a choreographed uh, system that is how it will always happen. Whenever they do something, that's what you follow. Now, these responses, for me, there is a fundamental question. Can education crisis be solved primarily through reaction, or do they require deep and more proactive leadership? Because for me, education leadership involves more than managing emergencies. I think we are very good at managing emergencies. It involves anticipating challenges before they erupt. But you see, GK Kaluregi Miwacho, they had already known what will happen. They had already put a plan in place. It's a plan not to sort out the problem. It's a plan to manage the problem. But the core goal, keep your eyes on the goal. That is the warning. So we can do an emergency, we can do emergencies, but it's just to manage the system, the symptoms. And therefore, one area requiring honest examination, the extent in which education institutions may be influenced by political considerations. I feel they get influenced a lot. Appointments within these educational structures should ideally Ideally, they can't, but should ideally prioritize competence, experience. For me, those are not even the issue. Integrity and professional capability. However, public perception sometimes suggests that political considerations may influence decision-making processes also. But it's not even political for me much. It's that system of extraction. It's still at work, it's at play, it still makes decisions in the highest level possible. So, do we consistently place the right people in leadership positions? And once appointed, do we provide them with the support necessary to succeed? They are placed there for a purpose. They are empowered in the way to succeed in the purpose for which they are placed there for. That could be my reaction. So if a principal of a school is struggling with the inadequate resources, how can they solve systemic funding gaps alone? There is no ministry official who can transform education outcomes without sufficient policy support. Tamoth, who is going to bring this policy? The policy is practically and particularly crafted for a particular outcome. There will never be a political goodwill. So perhaps one lesson emerging from this is an unrest is that we must stop imagining leadership as the possession of extraordinary individuals and begin viewing it as the product of a school institution consume leaders. They feel consumed. You are take Ramoth. There's a teacher who has said that.
Wacha nade? Tafadhali naona.
Or actually, strong institutions support leaders. Weak institutions like our schools currently are consuming us. So weak institutions consume leaders. Teacher.
Interesting. Interesting. Tell why doggy the responses, public statements, money wachoka.
Yeah.
In an extractive system, majority of the politicians are brokers. That is why many people want to go into politics. The same in Jogini. Many people watch only in politics is where you make money. And many people think in politics you make money because you steal from the coffers. Only it's just a quarter of the percentage, even less than a quarter. How do you steal from a broke government? Really? It is the deals Majoginyalo interact with when they interact with the system, with the extractive system. So the public statements are never usually for the people. It is for the owners of the system. But not performance. That is the time for them to perform. His performance in public, Emabo Nyisoka, he can enter some rooms that you never enter by virtue of being in that position, MP, whatever you call it. Middle on leadership, but it's just positions. Give me the real owners. To an extent, okay, the real owners cannot stand them. Okay, their brokenness and their incompetence just reeks of flow. So you cannot sit, Katajogi cannot sit with them in the rooms for long. The makers of the world cannot sit with them for long. Gionge ideas, Gionge depth, nothing. Kikumagi Somonigo, somebody has written, he doesn't even understand what is being told. But a child actor, that is what most of them get paid for. As politicians, in actors. And the extractive system loves that he can stand there and talk as if he's serious. He's lying. Kinenotelo, majority actors ma Hollywood. Ngani say act so many roles. Sechemoko and the worst killer of the worst killer. Wapoko Dwarone. In the next movie, Tena Ngani, you see the same, is the face is the same. And Yenya more Ipoloma save everybody. In the next movie, Ena Jakwe Choka. In the next one, Enkoro enemy Konye Nkejen Modito. Yani, they like such type of characters. And our politicians provide this. These misleaders provide this. So those public statements are Kamagiti Moga auditions, Kamagiti Moga performance. Any paron they are for the people. The people themselves can't understand what he's talking about. Majority of time, Kataka Jogi Golo speech, Katade people do not understand what he's talking about. Katade so-called educated, they okay understand what he's talking about. So that is necessary performance and necessary. Ipimo by the Telojogi Ogini Timina Diken. Telo in Kanya. Jogi ni Kodi. So Mano George, Mano George, Mano Wondle, Mano was the first social media before social media. Tonen literal Nikechi Winjoko Pamo. And that was the original social media. That is why, for us, especially when Joma work in this extractive country, social media is like heaven. It is why I can be a small politician and perform. Total performance. Look at me in my car, look at me with my money, look at me and this, look at this, what I'm watching, look at what I'm eating. Performance. So, Nisa, how much Jogi perform to the extractive system? Ochako that podium. That is the first place. Kinyakagini is now a very good actor. So, government in an extractive system, meant for any problem solving. They know what they are doing. In Mikia, I mean, Kama, when you're watching a movie, everybody who was there, the actor, the bad person, the people who are dying in the movie, all of them know they're acting. It is only you who is watching this movie paroning. This is true. This one really has a problem and his wife was killed and his children have been kidnapped. In me believe that nonsense. Only you. The actors, everybody knows their play.
Ramoth, Ramoth, before you go on, remember in our other program we talked about Jonas. Remember? Yes. So an episode happened with the guy, real true story, that based on what you are saying.
Yes.
That's an act. The guy is acting. He is acting that. The man in his own life, Mzi is a married man, one wife, beautiful kids, two kids, doing his life. In a place called Midrand, somebody wants to beat him, saying,
In real life.
I'm
In
talking
real life.
real life from 3 days ago.
It
3 days
happens.
ago. And so
Mm.
this guy wants to beat him because he's exposing. If that thing happens in your family, don't show us that. And we are making every woman think we behave like that. And the guy is serious. The guy wants to beat him up.
Yeah, Tim Ray Lord. Tim Ray. Mommy and I they do not understand what this guy is saying. We are all acting.
The police had to be involved.
Just on a gwinch, kidwa, but you do an interesting take. Listen to interviews of actors, especially actors more execute their role. Mang'eny ng'isi no dhi petrol station to ng'ato ng'ise gima nitimo cha. Gima nitimo cha. Nokonego ineg ng'ano machane ng'ama ber. And it was a movie. So majority of us will exist kamano.
I like moro mar Mr. Bean or the garage. He likes Land Rover. So he's gone for a part there. And then somebody approaches him and tells him, has anyone ever told you you are a spitting image of the Mr. Bean, the guy who acts Mr. Bean? And he innocently says, I act Mr. Bean. I am Mr. Bean. And then the guy laughs and tells him, you wish you were. So in true life, people, the person who is acting, I'm just
Okay, go me in a fast. Network kills problem. You mentioned the person who is acting, tell.
the reaction of millions and millions of
Network okelo issue. Okelo jogo nyoni. Nyoni tarale. Telo no en kech ni lal. Ni mentioned the person who is acting.
I
One.
actually thought I finished my mute. I was saying the person acting knows they're acting. I'm just corroborating that story because this is a true story that I've just said. It's not some fiction that this guy wanted to kill Jonas, like literally. So Jonas is acting. Jonas lead a totally different life. The guy has got his own life. That's an act. That's an act that he's doing. But this guy is meeting him and want to kill him in a shopping complex. And yeah, and then Mr. Beans also says he's in a very, just as he acts. So he says he's also how somebody wished him, saying, "Oh, you wish you were Mr. Bean," and he says, I'm Mr. Bean. I act Mr. Bean." But the guy is that doesn't believe him at all. So the people who act, they know they're acting. But the people who watch interpret these things differently. They understand these things differently, and they have got different reactions towards these people who do these things. Yeah.
So you see, the whole system is full of actors. It is not only politicians ma act. Good actors, the guy acting school, the word again. So Kenyan society, in case they refuse to develop a Kenyan culture, we have different versions of actors. Okende politician kende. That's why it works. wan gi so many roles. Emomiyo ning'isowa doctor mago ne the starring roles, mago starring. But in a movie nitie so many roles. Kata ng'ama obet kanyo ishine ne mano be actor. Ng'ama uso gazet, ng'ama kalo kanyo ka ng'ama dhi tich, mano be actor.
Correct.
So in such a system, watimo those games. Emomiyo ok wan concerned about the system changing or what. No, wan concerned about going to the next chapter, the next episode. Emomiyo nang'isi, interestingly enough, this issue, mass school, has disappeared. Nikech ineno kaka watch episodes, especially kaka Kenya consume episodes. Puonjowa to attend life as episodes. So now is the school unrest episode. Alafu then there was the episode of Akia Ngoa, and then there was the episode of football. Alafu then 90 episode of South Africa. And then every season one episodes.
Sani koro the
So
current one episode ma sani as we speak koro en mar parliament. Wabunge manyodhi, wabunge manyokodhi, what that's the episode madhi mbele. Mar school che ji wigi osewilgo. That's gone.
completely. No, nothing. So this is one performance art. So the country is a performing act. It's a performing art. Or act what? Especially one the real wabochako live real life kwa di polo. So this is just in a body tokochako the reality. So the people who the people who have to really promote this idea is the ministry. It has to be an act. It has to give the coordinators of the game. Because it is miseducation, nyaki terigi la la land and all these other things, and you have to be the main thing. Not take this completely to the ground. Monstello. Iduogo.
Oh,
Only.
there are backstage, Ramoth. I didn't know.
Okay.
Oh, it's back.
So man is the game. Man is the game what to go on. So that is the episode. Then what did the next episode? Worry to the next episode. So apparently this is reality. Magik Mwane Nogi is the real thing and what is really happening. But and the one place Manyaka Punjua other roles in school. Other roles mobile play in this game. Nkech really Kagimoa Imachono is true. There is nowhere Kenya is going. There is no culture. There is no future. Angekumawadhi. Then what do we do with our daily lives? Nakobed one performing. Nakobed no perform. And then Koro Yao social media now we can perform to quote unquote the world. Completely. So Kanye Mawanti Telo. There has to be a whole cultural space maybe the community focused on Nyalo take these things back, counter gigo makoroka the teachers are teaching to give the people who are prepared for the culture, are prepared to do the work of developing the culture. Engagement manner is the biggest work taking the culture to the next level. Alafu one of the One of kinema idwa kel sani telo, especially in duo ka idwa neno a lot of these so-called experts in traditions. Makoro dwa biro nikech now the young people gichako break out to gi look for real culture. To idwa, this is the next level midwa migi this type of people maduoko gi back into the box of confusion. Mok yawnegi what this is and why they should transform for the culture. Nikech the culture, nwasomo kan the culture lives in people, or live in buildings and stuff, or live or dwell inside people. So if culture, a Kenyan culture dwell inside people, it will be dangerous. So it would walk you back to traditions in forms of tribes, not in forms of the culture, in forms of tribes. Guinea bobet. And I mean, politicians keep entertaining this. Always get up into this. Always get up into this. Nyaka mind, we are acting as Luos, we are acting as Kikuyus, but kuwe jogging, our position, our part in the series, Bobedo removed. So we cannot afford to be cut off from the series. So Makanye Mawan theater. So the responses and the reaction is usually for this, for the act. And everybody knows we are acting. It's only Kwadua Yen we are acting. So we are acting as if we are developed, we are acting as if we are British, we are acting as if Kenya is a first world country and we see the result. We are acting as if the education is working and it will but deliver these experts who will take this country to the next thing. But or forget no, or not forget, or pretend no, we do not really see what is happening, no. Or produce just people who help the extraction system. And a big part Manyaka team, is the ministry. And am I in charge of this process? Mm. Is in Kidwang, just turn the word round. Just turn it round. You won't know the result. It will go body one on one with what is happening on the ground. Mm. But kitemo paro ni nikech iwuoyo English. So nikech iwacho English, he said the Europe build their idea of education. So iparo ni iwuoyo about global education. Iwuoyo about these things globally. Emomiyo nyoro nasomo that part. Even in Luo, the language of the King's Court is different.
Yes, it is.
Mago gik ma jogi noyudo from us. What yogi English when they are talking as the king's men or the king's women, get you with the words differently. So education is totally a different thing as regarding one. Nkech one kakanangisi one in a movie. So everything in the movie is fake.
Yeah.
So Amomio, for the majority it will be another calamity. Mabo go back attention to the schools, but episode no room. We are on to the next one. So kama nika kenti. Ama nido wacho gimoro kendo in ministry kendo nikech. Anto mano, it is my outlook on this. Only. Ginyoni kendo. Jogi ok mi nafas. Ikelo topic maliet. Iduoko ji chien. Wigi nonego bed nosewil kod gini. Osewil kod wachni. Onego wigi obed nosewil kod wachni. Nyaka nyoni matin.
JK, we wouldn't have put this thing better. Taparo ni Yomiketego has just now triggered me to mention something. And I've just changed a bit of how I wanted to do the end part of this. I wanted, in my mind, I would read a letter as we towards the finishing, and that letter, I know GK, you know it, in my book, Raising Teenagers, Shaping a Generation, and it's the letter that I wrote to parents based on what they're going through. But we've talked, and I think for me, we have enlightened issues, but in the end, what do we have as a solution? And in that sense, GK, I thought it wise to just highlight it to our listeners a small piece of Ramogi Cultural Institute for Luo Heritage Research and Education masterpiece solution that the institute will be embarking on shortly as regards what we're talking about. And therefore, ladies and gentlemen, we are highlighting problems. We've talked about uh, the role played by students. We've talked about the role being played by parents in a school system. Today, we've talked about the role being played by the teachers and educators, and also just generally the school. And then lastly, we've just talked about the Ministry of Education. But then the role of Ramogi Cultural Institute for Luo Heritage Research and Education is key in some aspects. And it believes that education and culture should not compete with one another but complement each other. While schools provide academic knowledge, culture provides identity, values, character, and a sense of belonging. So, to address the growing concerns of indiscipline among young people, Ramogi Cultural Institute has developed cultural programs that reconnect youth with positive Luo values such as respect, responsibility, integrity, hard work. We don't believe in wash, community service, and accountability. So, through mentorship forums, storytelling sessions, intergeneration dialogues, cultural camps, and leadership programs, young people will learn not only who they are, but also the expectations their community places upon them. The institution recognizes that many parents today struggle to understand the rapidly changing world of their children. Therefore, Ramogi Cultural Institute for Luo Heritage Research and Education will also create parent engagement programs that help parents understand the development of their kids towards communication, technology influences, and the importance of maintaining a strong family bond. That will happen by bringing parents, cultural elders, educators, and youth to the institute to seek to rebuild the bridge between the generations. The goal is not to return young people to the past, but to equip them with cultural wisdom that can guide them in the modern world. A child who knows their roots, understands their values, and feels connected to their community is more likely to develop integrity, self-discipline, and a sense of purpose. So through these initiatives, Ramogi Cultural Institute for Luo Heritage Research and Education seeks to contribute to a generation that is academically competent, culturally grounded, ethically responsible, and socially conscious. Young people who can excel in school while remaining family anchored in the values that bring strong families and a strong Luo society. I thought it was important that we mention that, because then the question would be, we have highlighted the problems. What solution do we have? If you listen to G.K. Ramoth keenly, there is a system that is not working for you. It's not working for me. It's not working for us as parents of the current generation. But we can't fold our arms and become helpless, all of us. Somebody must do something. And with pride, I say, Ramogi Cultural Institute for Luo Heritage Research and Education has decided to do it. You listen to something called camps. Yes. Young people who want to walk the path will be in Siwinde and Dual. JK, I thought Yuogi decided that we need to give the parents, because they would ask, but what is the solution that you prepare? So that's a clear roadmap, but just that's the tip of the iceberg. It is just the tip of the iceberg, because the issue is, after highlighting all these problems, we are coming to understand that everybody seems to be under pressure. The students are under pressure, parents are under pressure, teachers are under pressure, school administration under pressure, ministry itself under pressure, society itself under pressure. So the challenge before us is not merely to institutions repeatedly cry out through crisis are institutions that are not prepared. Why societies do not merely punish the systems. They act. They listen carefully to the message and they act. GK.
Telo. Awinji. Gibati ni wacho gigo and na linga to no kawacho. But mano berbedo joma diverse. To kata kiwacho kamano kaka jodongo or the institute neneno ni some of these things should be done. The parents be nyaka bed educated. So culture nyaka educate the parents, the children, the grown-ups, the old people. Nyaka bed continuous education. And the job balanced. Wase bed kokwatime for long. But monsters, imagine tiego game. Kagi paro ni gibo recycle the system mar wito gi kanyo nikech koro school otamogi. That will not happen. Especially Kenya cultural institution and much more stricter. Nikech ok en school mantie kod interest of children, en gi interest mar community. To kinyal kao the interest of one group mondo ni interest of the children tiwe the parents. Gin ginyalo thothogi. Cultural things are a bit more complex. Gidoro a bit very interesting ways of thinking. So by the way. And kakiwacho no solution tie, and solution can be implemented, but kila ng'ato nyaka play different parts. Nikech kata kwatiko with the government, there's been efforts nigi chako recognize these cultural institutions, or traditional kata tribal institutions. Nikech kamane kaka gitemoga kelo gigi, but cultural institutions manyalo help in the process kata ma form a culture ma Luo, but also Kakamano bedo integrated into culture ma Kenya, and how we move on from Kanyo into the next centuries. So Like a gibe ready, when that time reaches, ginyalo wuoyo and help these processes mondo gino happen. Mondo bed kanyo nikech of the incompetence. Why you don't hear so many people who kibedo paid for these things not to happen? So to gibeti kombe goma, it becomes difficult to implement the solutions. Kataka bedo implemented, but you don't. There are many secret people are against the implementation of things that would help the whole society. But wamako mana in this, as I always say, these discussions wamako gamana at the very, very top surface. Very top surface. Into very detailed solutions, manyalo bet for Africa, for Kenya, and also for Luo in that sense, and for all these other Jogika, if they are willing to take part in what is coming, what will be the future of Africa. Okay, there is a future mabo come, and the future is Africa. Anabo wacho without mokwa lure, even if it does not seem so today. Kata Singapore, South Africa, they did not seem in the future, but now Kinyalo wacho. Now so many of our electronics work kuro. And in a few decades, Gimanenti kuro isipokuwa mchele and tabu and disease. So Gimanyiso nikuwa ni this situation ni 100 years from now, we'll be in the same situation. That is not written anywhere. Okay, na rule. Okay, na fast rule. As long as one consciousness, there's always things that can be done. So manobe one go sure kodo. The future is Africa, future in Luo. Get in that future, nyaka wabed ka take a part of it, a very active part of it. Whether ji ohero ok ohero, mano ok badho. So mano be nyaka gima nyaka wa remember. To telo katieko, acho nero kamano sana for this. Unless idwa mondo aduok ni kidwa tieko gimoro, but kanye mabowe. Hopefully in the future wabo yudo chance ma go deeper in this, especially Kyoto institution and these lessons. Magi gik madwaro several sessions. Mane gima seche moko en ga a bit difficult. Ni wawuoyo about something to gini wanyalo wuoyo about it a month, just going deeply in every angle of it mondo bed understood. Because we are so far from ourselves and so alienated from our Africanness. Abedo problem. Atelo, kapoka weni akawa an example of what I mean. An African manondiko, although sani and oonge sani, be a long time ago. Nondiko book moro miluongo ni Kindenzi, The Congo Art of Babysitting. Akawa man kich, there's something interesting. Magi look at the Gimana Temo mention on it, the way Africa nature with looking at the person. Alafu to education around him and the institution around him. In the introduction of the book, the manondiko book named Ilongon Fukiao, Ganga Fukiao, Enja Congo. Tahero Gamanon Kech, Iodon Magi kendo they are that part of Luo Mantie Congo, Mandiko need these things. Kech Luo Ken Kenya Kende. It's super wide. There's so much in that world of Luo. Kenya Oko explore. In his ground, about some a bit of the introduction. Hopefully, Bo makes sense. In his groundbreaking work, Mabuk Moroman Ondiko, or before Ilungen Self and Therapy. Kamaneka Kilungo Bugno. Very, very interesting book. Ilungen Self Healing Power and Therapy. To obase mano in how Africans were doing it. Ichopo Kaminya lo yudo. But this self healing power. I love therapy. Inyalo self healing therapy. Dr. Fukiao tells us that Mtu, the human being, is a living sun and is perceived as a power This mtu is a living sun. Sun meaning sun, kakachieng, and is perceived as a power, a phenomenon of perpetual veneration from conception to death and beyond. Wachon mano how Kakano defined in the first book. Kindenzi is also the process of how this living sun is nurtured once he or she has been brought into the physical world. Manema, this Kindenzi book I explained Kakitino. The task of caring for this sacred Mtu is the most important responsibility in African civilization. Dr. Fukiao intentionally translates Kindenzi as the art of babysitting to shock us. My immediate impression upon reading the subtitle of this book was to question him, respectfully pointing out that what seemed to be a mistaken translation, a poor choice of an English term, tell the English again, Englishcha. Dr. Fukiao's response was given in his characteristically soft, patient, and considerate manner, which forces one to hang onto every word, and convinced that wisdom is about to be bestowed. He explained that in European culture, babysitting is thought to be an insignificant activity, a job for the least important people in our society. We know that teenagers who supposedly have nothing important to do are given this task. And African women are imported from the Caribbean to take care of European American children as a statement to their alleged racial inferiority. Kata Germany, this is what they do, or pair gay and all these things. Yet, according to the author of this book, Kindenzi is the greatest honor that can be bestowed upon a person in an African society. Fukiao is bringing home the point in a sharply critical manner that while childhood is devalued in European society, African civilization is child-centered. This becomes clear as we understand human life in the context of spiritual community, in the context of a spiritual community, a never-ending process of growth, development, transformation, and accountability. The well-being of the community depends on the health and the wholeness and the successful maturation of persons who constitute its members. Kindenzi, then, is an art that is focused not only on nurturing of the young within the society, but on the growth of the Ndenzi, the caretaker, one who practices the art of Kindenzi. In other words, as one develops the skill of Kindenzi, one develops oneself as well. The Ndenzi must help the Ntu, the living sun, to shine. And in the process, she learns how to shine with the power of a living sun. Because this process is continuous, the highest Kindenzi experience of service to the community rests with the elders. Elders in African society are those who have become physically more frail, but who are spiritually stronger because they have grown further in personal development and have moved closer to their ancestors. To the ancestors, to the spiritual world, and to the source of life itself. In Congo Gilongo, the source of life as Kalunga. An elder is not just an old person, but it is someone still mentally and spiritually strong and wise enough not only to maintain the community, united, but above all to build the moral foundation for the community, youths, and generations to come. Obor waweka obor sana. The Mano's introduction about 4 or 5 pages. Modong. So telona Kamano Kechi realized in this African context, Kata the teacher is the Ndenzi, and the ministry is the Ndenzi ma the Kamade, the elders no nego bedie to take care of the community to Genjoma Obedo Gisedi so far in personal development. Amanyalo team of this work. So there was the importance as the teacher teach to be or develop. okno golo mana extractors. Obe ong'eni through this process of grow. Through exchanging ma create other ndenzi, creating other mtu, tano,
Ten
obe
band.
ogro.
Yes.
Yeah, so kata kipenjo these systems mawan gogi. Gigro adier. Kata the teachers, this institution itself, the government. Gigro adier. And are they, kata the people themselves, are they growing? Mondo gibedi chieng' mashine. Gima niluongo ni celebrities cha. The suns mashine. Wawe kanyo telo, wekawe.
Frustrations ema ng'eny kacha growth onge. A lot of complaints left center, no promotions, nothing, no. To finish it, Gina. In fact, kanyocha gi change into curriculum as CBC ni. The people who are meant to implement it were not empowered in any way at all. How do you grow? GK erokamano. Aparon sabe kororo marome wange sama wantiere ni. I can't thank you in a better way. I think, and I don't want to talk for anybody else, but I think the input and the insight was quite deep. And it didn't take just the normal discussions that take place around these, especially the school unrest. I've had a number of them. I've seen a number of people being interviewed. And I can say without an outer of contradiction that they are quite academic, the discussions that are going on around this issue. Very academic. And I think we're not heading anywhere when we discuss these issues. We are talking about a generation that one day will be required. The society, the society, the country called the Kenya would one day be in their hands, that they are now the people taking care of it. And the citizens who will be there, them, they will be in a different generation gap, and they are leading those who are behind them. This generation that we are seeing now doing what they are doing. So we can't be too academic with them. We have to be deeper. We have to look for solutions for them. And Ramoth, as I finish, I was so when I was becoming too hard and said, I'm not for the idea of, you came in and you said you understand the situation. I've seen your perspective, although I still have my own, because now that we have realized that the system is doing this to us, we may be used as parents to pass the information because we are safety. We are safe whenever comes from us to our children. They take it as word, as God. That's how your kids see you. Now, what we do differently, because some of the things we force onto them create other ideas into their heads, and they look for a way to defy that, but they are not going to defy you directly. They defy you through destruction elsewhere. I wrote a letter in my book, Raising Teenagers, Shaping a Generation. I think so that you understand why I'm writing for you the letter, you must have the book and read it. But the letter was written for such purposes, for such times. And it was a letter to parents. You are not failing. That is the subheading of my letter. So, dear parent, if you are reading this with weary eyes, perhaps questioning yourself, wondering whether you are doing it right, this letter is for you. Parenting a teenager is not an easy task. It is a journey filled with silent dinners, and you are staying, and that matters. Uh,
Telo. Kalo Godi. Kalo Godi. Only. Teli duogo. Yeah. Telo osciliating. Kila saa kachako donjo e chunye to obedo oyudo technicalities.
GK,
Otelo. Ni lal ga narito mondo Moses ogine. Imi aparo kare ng'ato ywayi tuoro koso ma kendo bedo matek.
Awuoro.
Ing'e ni barua no wawinjo matin sana.
Oh,
Matin sana. Odhi.
okay. Aparo ni,
Mm.
just a second. Wapenja ni ka network is now. Okay, GK. All right. So let me just quickly recap. If you are reading this with weary eyes, perhaps questioning yourself, wondering whether you are doing it right, this letter is for you. Parenting a teenager is not an easy task. It is a journey filled with silent dinners, closed bedroom doors, unexpected mood swings, unspoken fears, and moments that leave you questioning whether anything is going through or getting through. You might sometimes feel like you are walking into the dark, trying to reach a child who seems distant or indifferent. Let us say it clearly. You are not failing. You are showing up. You are trying. You are staying. And that matters more than you know. Teenagers do not always say thank you. They may not always show appreciation or communicate what they are feeling. But deep within, they long for your presence, your love, your consistency, and your belief in them. They may test your limits, questioning your decisions, or even pushing you away. But that does not mean you are parenting wrongly. It means they are growing, they are stretching, they are becoming. The key word is in they are stretching, they are becoming. This season is messy. That is okay. Growth always is messy. There is no perfect way to raise a child or a teenager. There are only intentional ways. And love, even when it looks quiet or clumsy, always speaks. Every gentle correction, every boundary enforced with love, every ride to school, every meal cooked, it builds something in them, brick by brick. Trust that the seeds you're planting will bloom. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, maybe not next year, but in time, they will. The world, and Africa in particular, does not need perfect parents. It needs present parents. Parents who rise after failing or falling, who apologize when they need to, who, who model resilience and who love even when it's hard.
Tena kawuono jogi dwa deal mana gi kes ni. Dwa mana deal gi kes ni. One day. Tere duogo.
Jike iwinjo?
Dwa ni wuo telo. Nego koro
Barua duga tieko.
Wachal ni barua no nyaka isome kendo another time.
Okay.
Nikech owinjo part of it and personally winjo part of it alafu ilal. Winjo mana part of it alafu iduogo ilal.
Lore, ang'eyo the technical issues mantiere.
Ok gidwa ni wuo. Inyono tiend ng'ato igine
Inyono
kuro.
tiend ng'ato.
Obadhe. En noketo tiende kanyo nikech erokamano telo. An kaka nasewacho erokamano to our cultural champions. You could have been anywhere, but you're here with us. So for that, we really appreciate. And above all, we hope you learned something. We hope you learned something that you can take with you, that you can apply, that informs your decisions. Hope you really learned something. Erokamano to Ramogi Cultural Institute for Luo Heritage Research and Education for chance ni. Hopefully gibomedo support wa, gibomedo jiwo wa, miwa teko, miwa mijing'o mondo wadhi waendelea timo gini mos. Waendelea timo gini kata ka wan gi ka weche dwa dhi bet ma interesting mbele koni. gimako badwa jodongo gi implement gik ma gidwa timogo for the betterment of Luo. Mondo wane and in return mano bo bedo betterment of East Africa and Africa ka wadhi mbele. Manie the future en one. Erokamano Uda for this session, for part of this idea and react to this session. Mami wa chance mawuoyo with something that is happening right now. Nkech culture is not just about the past. Culture is continuous. Culture lives in people, and culture is current. And so, Katako way about this, we're still talking about culture. I want to know how we can take care of the next seed that is coming. Erokamano Uda. About erokamano sana waduok nigo.
Erokamano JK. In bende erokamano maduong for always availing yourself to moderate such tough topics. They are not easy topics. I say, I've told you, awinjogi in a number of forums, but I must say that they're quite academic. I'm not looking down upon them, but I just think if we handle them academically, we are not getting to solutions. My sincere appreciation to Ramogi Cultural Institute for Luo Heritage Research and Education for giving us such an opportunity, and especially for me to host GK Ramoth. And winjo kendo unung'eyo weg the insights ma uyudo. I must point it out, they are not your normal discussions ma we may be hearing elsewhere. So if you are not here, you won't hear them. To the engineers, some of them I see are very frustrated because of the things they can't handle needs other people outside their jurisdiction. It's fine. It's okay, guys. I thank the engineers both on my end and GK's end and those who monitor for the elders in their gadgets. We thank you. And to you who is here today.
Tela ng'oma timre. Magi gik manitimo tuoro ka giduogo. Giduogo. Giduogo nyakipei. Erokamano telo, dhi mbele tieke.
Onega gini neren pok atimo msango ne jodongo. But GK, timero kamano ne jogi duto man ka. Nyaka kendo arom. Koro wabro bet gi the last part of it. To kamano to jogo ma ong'eyo programs ma wan gatiere go every day of the week. Karibuni kendo. Kariburu. Jogo ma sagi en sanindo uned maber. Jogo ma jogi san gin pod odiechieng' and all that, nikech wang'en iwinjwa all over the world. Un bende wawacho ni uger piny maber kendo utim gigo makonyo u to konyo oganda to konyo families u. Kiny mogik, kiny wan gi special Father's Day edition. Details, tune in and listen to them. Erokamano. Erokamano ahinya. GK erokamano. Engineers erokamano. And everybody else makonyowa ng'iyo weche madhi mbele gi. Erokamano. Until next week. For the topic is next week. For other programs, we are on like fire every time. Thank you. Thank you.
ni adui mkubwa kwa ujenzi wa taifa, kwani ndicho kiini hasa kisababisha chonja. Ewe ndugu yangu we, amka kumekucha, kamata jembe na panga, twende shamba. Hata wewe mwanangu, amka kumekucha, kwani hizi ndizo saa za kwenda shule. Hata wewe karani, amka kumekucha, kwani hizi ndizo saa za kwenda kazi. Mbivu ni adui mkubwa kwa ujenzi wa taifa, kwani ndicho kiini hasa kisababisha chonja. Ewe ndugu yangu we, amka kumekucha, kamata jembe na panga, twende shamba. Hata wewe mwanangu, amka kumekucha, kwani hizi ndizo saa. Hata wewe karani, amka kumekucha, kwani hizi ndizo saa za kwenda kazi. Mbivu ni adui mkubwa kwa ujenzi wa taifa, kwani ndicho kiini hasa kisababisha chonja. Ewe ndugu yangu we, amka kumekucha, kamata jembe na panga, twende shamba. Hata wewe mwanangu, amka kumekucha, kwani hizi ndizo saa za kwenda shule. Hata wewe karani, amka kumekucha, kwani hizi ndizo saa za kwenda kazi. Uvivu ndio adui wa ujenzi wa taifa, jiepushe na uvivu, tujenge taifa. Ndugu yangu kumekucha, amka twende shamba, jiepushe na uvivu, tujenge taifa. Mwanamke kumekucha, amka wende shule, elimu ndiyo msingi wa maendeleo. Karate kumekucha, amka wende kazi, jiepushe na uvivu, tujenge taifa. Uvivu ndio adui wa ujenzi wa taifa, jiepushe na uvivu, wewe tujenge taifa. Ndugu yangu kumekucha, jiepushe na uvivu, tujenge taifa. Mwanamke kumekucha, amka wende shule, elimu ndiyo msingi wa maendeleo. Karate kumekucha, amka wende kazi, jiepushe na uvivu, tujenge taifa. Amka we, jitayarishe uende shule kijana. Hata we mfanyi kazi, jitahidi uamke na mapema. Time zako zimekwisha baba. Uende shule, uende kazi, kila pahali. Adui wa ujenzi wa taifa, jiepushe na uvivu baba we, jenge taifa. Ndugu yangu kumekucha, amka wende shamba, jiepushe na uvivu kaka, jenge taifa. Mwanangu kumekucha, amka wende shule, ndio elimu ndio msingi wa maendeleo. Makarani kumekucha, amka wende kazi, jiepushe na uvivu, tujenge taifa. Uvivu ndio adui wa ujenzi wa taifa, jiepushe na uvivu, tujenge taifa. Ndugu yangu kumekucha.
Kama hauna shilingi mambo yako ni bure. Mapenzi ya zamani yalikuwa ni bure. Zamani za kale mambo ya lakini kisira ni shilingi baba ikaharibu. Sasa hakuna cha bure dunia baba, ni shilingi. Hata mtoto mchanga yule aliyezaliwa leo anapolia mama mama mama, hebu tupa shilingi pale pale, hata kuonyesha pengo. Ama kweli shilingi ni sabuni ya roho, hata kama una mawazo shilingi itakusafisha roho. Jamani, hata yule munyama ule wa siku hizi, hebu tupa shilingi pale pale baba, atakurarua. Iwe mzee wa miaka baba 50, bora awe na shilingi, warembo watamuandama, na wewe kijana utaachwa hapo hapo yeah. Kanyani. Shilingi ya ua, tena maua. Shilingi ya ua, tena maua. Shilingi ya ua, tena maua. Shilingi ni tamu baba, usizarau. Hiyo shilingi moja inaweza kuvunja mlima. Hiyo shilingi moja inaweza ulale pakubwa. Usidharau shilingi baba ya ua. Baba shilingi ya ua, tena maua. Shilingi ya ua, tena maua. Shilingi ya ua, tena maua. Katikati ya mapenzi bila shilingi ni ngumu. Wewe useme yote bila mapesa ni ngumu. Hata uwe na sura ya kupendeza baba ni ngumu. Bora uwe na shilingi, mambo yako yatanyoroka. Shilingi ya ua, tena maua. Shilingi ya ua, tena maua. Shilingi ya ua, tena maua. Shilingi takufanya weye baba uibe, tena shilingi takufanya uwe ofisa. Hatukiwa na miaka 25 papa, pale pale utaitwa mzee, pale pale utaitwa mzee wa shilingi. Shilingi ya ua, tena maua. Shilingi ya ua, tena maua. Shilingi ya ua, tena maua yeah. rafiki ya roho, binadamu baba ya ngara. Shilingi ya ua, oh, tena maua. Shilingi ya ua, oh, tena maua. Shilingi ya ua, oh, tena maua. Ukitaka chochote dunia baba ni shilingi. Ukiwa na mpenzi wako, oh, maneno tupu haya kujimfupa. Wewe bwaga shilingi mezani. Shilingi ya ua, oh, tena maua. Shilingi ya ua, oh, tena maua. Shilingi ya ua, oh, tena maua. Mambo yafike magumu hayapitiki kati ya mapenzi, hata useme mazuri, lakini ukiona mwanamke anapita vile na vile, wewe toa shilingi tu, wewe utakubaliwa sana. Shilingi ya ua, oh, tena maua. Shilingi ya ua, oh, tena maua. Shilingi ya ua, oh, tena maua.
Sasa ni mwaka moja sioni rafiki yangu, lazima nipate pesa niende Nairobi. Walala ni mwaka moja sioni rafiki yangu, lazima nipate pesa nione Babo Tonglo. Kwake nyumbani nikakuta umejaa na watu wengi. Kumbe si wageni, ni familia yake, mabibi zake na watoto wake. Uchumi ya nyumba yangu umezorota sana, nafanya urekebisho vile wataishi. Anawaita vodka alinikaribisha na shangwe tele, vodka usiniume. Anawaita vodka alinikaribisha na shangwe tele, vodka usiniume. Whoa, whoa, welcome. I don't know you.
unisamehe, vodka unisamehe, bajeti iko hai, bajeti iko hai, vyakula vimepanda, vyakula vimepanda, ukame umezidi, ukame umezidi, vitu vyote vimepanda, vitu vyote vimepanda. Babo Tonglo, Babo Tonglo.
Baada ya kuketi chini, Baba Beni alisimama na makaratasi kadhaa. Kwanza akanyorosha sauti. Well, sasa mimi nataka mabadiliko kubwa sana katika nyumba hii, kwa maana mimi naona nimetumia pesa nyingi sana katika mwaka uliopita. Kwanza mtakunywa strong tea, chai bila maziwa. Sukari mtaweka kijiko moja, 1 spoon. Kama hakuna majani mtakunywa uji bila sukari. Unga ni ya kupima. Lakini mjue ikifika saa 3 ya asubuhi, moja kwa moja mpaka soko Mjinga kununua sukuma. Na mtapika bila mafuta. Na sitaki kuona sabuni ya nyingi katika nyumba hii. Mtasafisha manguo zenu na sabuni ya makasi. Na kuoga na sabuni ya panga. Sasa kuna vyakula ambavyo vitapunguzwa kuanzia sasa. Vyakula kama nyama, kuku, samaki, mtakula mara 2 kwa mwezi, tarehe 15 na mwisho wa mwezi. Na vitu kama chai ya maziwa, mayai, mkati, hazina haja, kwa maana hata huyu jirani ako mzima tu na atumii hizo. Ya 3, vitu kama chapati, mchele, mtakula mara 2 kwa mwaka, Xmas na Pasaka. Ya 4, wageni sasa marufuku katika nyumba hii. Na wale ambao watakuja bila notisi watalazimika kubeba nauli kwenda na kurudi. Ama kama watalala wawe na vitu vya kulala. Ya 5, chakula ikiiva lazima mkule pamoja. Hakuna kuwekea mtu chakula. Ya 6, watu wa kuomba vitu sasa marufuku. Atisaidia na stovu yako hiyo dakika kidogo. Atisaidia na pasi yako hiyo ninyoroshe nguo yangu moja tu. Atisaidia na makaa. Vitu ndogo ndogo, majani, chumvi, binzari, mafuta, kibiriti, kitunguu, sasa marufuku. Sasa majirani wakikuona umeweka bundle moja ya unga, oh, Babu Tonglo, unisaidie na unga mfuko moja tu, nitakurudishia kesho. Na udushiwi. No. No. Sound the done here. One more time for the bass.
Eli Toto, the Sudanese, Le Padre, the good.
Super Kings Musicals.
Era no Eli, aneno donjo kuma. Oh,
Chris Siki.
Minyo era no Eli, aneno donjo kuma. Uluch kuda miri kume makene, wapi Austin sesmat. Era timo no mi bedo genyati, matinde dendi mami. Oh, gino timo no mabedo genyati, matinde luonga dadi. Otaka Jackson would sober, wapi jemo would kindo. Era kodonjo kumi makata puonji, okenya liwinje sechego. Odire unyakaji, Moses Simon Molo Odi. Era kodonjo kumi makati uondi, okenya linene sechego. Era kodonjo kumi makati nyise die, okenya linene sechego. Era kodino wangi makati luare bugo, okenya linene sechego. Era nigi power mago. Ili mipingo era nyisa, yunino nyuli ginga. Ili mipingo era nyisa, yunino nyuli ginga. Era sadonje via wesanda geweche mange, okanyali winje sechegiro. Era kodonje via ndokati nyisa ngo, okanyali winje sechegi babae. Era nigi power mato. Imasenane era ni, okanyali pimo nengato, atamati. Litma winje chunya ane mangeo. Wacha ni enjoy maisha yangu mos. Nipunge pepo habari mos. At the break semia era mawom. Imewahi gongewa era mawom. Nikule maisha mos. Nishike pia yangu mos. Era nigi power mago. Ushaipendwa, ukazalishwa, mpaka ukaachwa, tena ukagongewa. Sitaki mawazo tena, Sitaki niumizwe tena, sitaki nyoko nyoko tena, spendi nyoko nyoko tena. So don't beep my phone, don't call my phone, don't beep my phone again.
Honey, you know I love you.
Wewe sikia huyu baby girl ameanza mambo yake ya matakataka tena. No, mimi na wewe tulitengana, ukasema unitaki kuniona tena. Mimi siku hizi mambo ya mapenzi nilisema no. Natafuta pesa, natafuta ganji ama nyongima, weke chando niga kode weche manono baby, hatuna nipenda ninakutaka. Mapenzi ya siku hizi haina faida, mapenzi ya siku hizi haina faida. Kazi yangu nitafute pesa, kazi yangu nitafute do, ndoto yangu nipate ganji. Siku hizi natafuta do.
Sweetie, what is wrong with you? Acha hizo.
We kambali, mimi mambo ya mapenzi nilisema pana. Hata nifanye kazi nipate pesa yangu, nijenge nyumba yangu, nijenge mama yangu. Mapenzi ya siku hizi haina faida, mapenzi ya siku hizi haina faida. Kazi yangu nitafute pesa, kazi yangu nitafute do, ndoto yangu nipate ganji. Siku hizi natafuta do. Samama dokongo tamiela jawa, na enjoy, nasikia vizuri, na enjoy, nasikia vizuri. Aja waringeremo otugo juogi, aja waringeremo otugo juogi. Ulolo imanyisi inde adong kena, acha mongema na enjoy, acha mongema na enjoy, na nenepa, nasikia vizuri, na enjoy, nasikia vizuri.
Super Kings Musicals.
Producer one, Chris Muziki, sounds from the lake, Nyakach finest.
Wooza, Medina, Boss Lady, skiza hii.
Turn it up, Medina's in the building. We gonna do hands up to the ceiling. Turn it up, Medina's in the building. We all cheesy.
Unagi beat mathematics, calculate. Ole moma ni pido doge mi cultivate. Ati momos nenga manyocha underrate. Odugo yudo kakwino bait. Kapukichwa da photo matao. Miyaki paza sauti monda can look proud. Katia kodino rock na crown. Nyaroya di boko sonuriem na rao. Makladi nazo nitoa fiti na majegi ni talanta na si ujinga. Tamasha tulikatiwa sitima, tukangasha tukarudi city mta. Silabas wane mwatero mweja, lupo kata kwang tonyaka kelrech. Mafulu mangege o mesh, manight ni manduru nyalua day match. Anula era chig ni giawi, upoka giki dhot kikubaya. Asayo ujujugi kikungawa, angenu nene mbuya kwa ugagi kikugona. Anula era chig ni giawi, upoka giki dhot kikubaya. Asayo ujujugi kikungawa, angenu nene mbuya kwa ugagi kikugona. Adonje pap nyajo game kakarach, mae simba manolala dugu kendo kenda dash. Ata kwach kenda ger kama guar, katangi batek angigeno kajaduar. Ni dhano moro teka kunu jogi igi kuar, gimor kisiki, ikarilal kasokinti iki. Ni jogi mor kisiki, karilal kasokinti iki. Anula era chieg ni giawi, upoka giki dhot kikubaya. Asayo ujujugi kikungawa, angenu nene mbuya kwa ugagi kikugona. Anula era chieg ni giawi, upoka giki dhot kikubaya. Asayo ujujugi kikungawa, angenu nene mbuya kwa ugagi kikugona. Anula era chieg ni giawi, upoka giki dhot kikubaya. Asayo ujujugi joto maundi switch it off make a pause maoli ball pin vuta nangos wanajifanya loving ilali ni mazombi ikudhika kerach kidonji dendi bosi omera penika daki morda note okungosa medhi maber ekalweny goyore kati fuolo iwinjo mane biro nyonore jomane pon gote loyo duto dondore dake piny nyakitang inyalo galo rito chunyi nosekawe kasho tema bunjo kodi mor kakarinya kata Yesu negendoge dhana bede nyal Poison, poisonous Ngamundo gingano poisonous Kikibit nyadiriyo ngano poisonous Lawegi bokarao ngano poisonous Poison, poisonous Ngamundo gingano poisonous Kikibit nyadiriyo ngano poisonous Lawegi bokarao ngano poisonous Teacher, I educate Tagolo doke it mwalimu elevator Awero fact mawajanja meditate Punjo jigi moro ganda maokeo joka nyada Akwedo nyombira jamiriambo dhoge lemlem Kusiko na winjo ma ngane nyochoko na ma Athuwa manono kate los enoketho Miriambo iteseko ipudho dhako wadu Tetaro kasadam nenego miriambo ma Kiti dhero kasandan Jabelo ichalo ngamoran pugadiche Wele kineko andiwa Poison, poisonous Ngamundo gingano poisonous Kikibit nyadiriyo ngano poisonous Lawegi bokarao ngano poisonous Poison, poisonous Ngamundo gingano poisonous Kikibit nyadiriyo ngano poisonous Lawegi bokarao ngano poisonous
Japessa on the beat.
Atoti mistress, Bologane Pangla. Nano, Bologane Pangla. Anyafema kwa yofe, Bologane Pangla. Nano, Bologane Pangla. Yoma ukunyi, Bologane Pangla. Nano, Bologane Pangla. Kasufria maliotu, Bologane Pangla. Bologane Pangla. Omera ke usema wadu yom.
Misawa
We agoni mbaka moro boy Nyocha donga yudo nyako more bo makae Nyathi motingo yote kachiro magidhurai
Iwacha dier
Omera donga wena yudo nyako
Ati won
Kare mana kudho ema kwako
Igori dusla
Omera gi maneno kod wanga nyasachielo kachaka serislando
Yaye Wood dede mi ambak
We akod
Boy na Kona gi motimre
We angisi
Kaka nene Nyako ni nonjawi
Hey
Awacha yueyo na kweri nyi Nairobi
Omera daki bed mos buana Hane mami story kosine mimi ya story
Aling
Keka rungu donga bedo imatatu Wothoria kibira pati lido bago both
Kona wa
Kapoda bedo imatatu Jabero bedo batha pacha kuro mila Omera kaka alsengo bonya Sayo doko lamo na masika lama
Boy na inderi la
Yeah
Okone gingi ki Jessica
Ase ye
Timbe zera bara macho negi we Timbe mago yumago ibologa ni pangla Boy na inderi la
Yeah
Okone gingi ki Jessica
Awinyo wadi
Timbe zera bara macho negi we Timbe mago yumago ibologa ni pangla
Atoti mistress Bologa ni pangla Nano Bologa ni pangla Anyafema kwa yofe Bologa ni pangla Nano Bologa ni pangla Joma ukunyi Bologa ni pangla Nano Bologa ni pangla Kasufria maliotu Bologa ni pangla Bologa ni pangla Matatu koro pongari wuok
Boy na
Makanga ngiyo wanga kwayo fare
Then what?
Kamulo fuko nata wodha loaf Makanga penja buda kwani huna pesa ndogo Bro, ujui tuko mwiso wa mwesi Niki wodha ngine tena nita wodha loaf
Yenno ni meo
Mitoboko reo penjo nyakono
Madam, na we unashuka stage gani?
Nadu kenade
Ninashuka Embakasi.
Okay, tusina chenja itoshi itaunganisha wawili atakupatia chwani.
Omera, donkora gogi rungu Makanga koro miyo gini yotoke karungu
Boy na inderi la
Yeah
Okone gingi ki Jessica
Ase ye
Timbe zera bara macho negi we Timbe mago yumago ibologa ni pangla Boy na inderi la
Yeah
Okone gingi ki Jessica
Awinyo wadi
Timbe zera bara macho negi we Timbe mago yumago ibologa ni pangla
Atoti mistress Bologa ni pangla Nano Bologa ni pangla Anyafema kwa yofe Bologa ni pangla Nano Bologa ni pangla Joma ukunyi Bologa ni pangla Nano Bologa ni pangla Kasufria maliotu Bologa ni pangla Bologa ni pangla But atukoro loro I stage Yathini lombo wanga dongo ber. Forgive my manners madam, unaitwa nani?
Naitwa Masi.
Mi naitwa Makadede. Aki ya nani kuna venye uko fete jaber. Si unaweza nipa namba, maybe baadaye tunaweza bonga sana.
Okay, haina noma. Kwanza kuna vile we umenibamba.
Igogi rungu, igogi nyundo boy na wang niti igogi nyundo boy na igogi rungu, igogi nyundo boy na wang niti igogi nyundo boy na
Don't mistress, bologane pangla. Nalo, bologane pangla. Anyafema kwa yofe, bologane pangla. Nalo, bologane pangla. Yoma ukonyi, bologane pangla. Nalo, bologane pangla. Kasufria maliot, bologane pangla. Bologane pangla. Kine ayudo missed collaboro. Amor, kaka nyako ni ohera. Kagocho baka tika.
Gasi imeisha, aki nitumie 2K niweze kurefill.
Ukegi ngato donga miyo mana wanga. Nikech hera donga chwede thau tano. Chaka po, chaka yudo miss call. Kagocho baka.
Imekulwa na fuliza, please tuma tena, aki mimi nakupenda.
boy na oseluoki
Yaye
boy na maneka kiluoki
we record
boy na oseluoki
pesa mara
boy na maneka kiluoki
Yaye choke chua thogi yoko iko nini Omera donga chaka oro kendo Kinde kakora goyo simu Mteja wa nambari koro unge
Hello Ateno usura urira muhiki wakwa Thie fio njege no Keino geke
Make money anymore. Shake your feet, baby girl, and Imagine your quarrel, did you want my luo? But who are you? What are you? Who the hell do you think you are? Do you know me? Do I know you? Get the hand and close my face because hey, I am unbogable. I am unbeatable. I am unsuable. So if you like my song, sing it for yourself. Who can you over me? Who can you over me? I said, who can you over me? I am unbogable. Who can you over me? Who can you over me? I said, who can you over me? I am unbogable. Yeah, you don't wanna go back. Yo mo poni na ke back. Yo mo tini na ke back. Maji na ke paroli de poro ya. Ogingo dinga donga paroli. Tomboya donga paroli. Ukoroba donga paroli. Raila molo donga paroli. Gorma ye donga paroli. Okachi bigi donga paroli. Orango